today we will discuss the Bohr's atomic model. Okay, so Bohr's model means, suppose if you consider the Rutherford atomic model, he said that the nucleus which is present at the center of the atom, and around this nucleus the electrons are continuously rotating. So if the nucleus it is there, and if the electrons are rotating at a certain time, electrons it will come and it will fall down to the nucleus by losing its energy, because for rotating it will lose the energy, it will come to the nucleus, and at last it will fall into the nucleus. Okay, so that means if it will fall in the nucleus, it will not give the concept of the stability of the atom. Okay, so for that Bohr's model has come. So according to the Bohr's model, electron orbit is the nucleus is the in stable orbit. How? He is saying that when electron move throughout or around the nucleus, it will not lose or gain the energy. Whenever it will grow from lower orbital energy orbital to higher energy orbital, or if it will come from higher energy orbital to lower energy orbital, then that time only it is possible to gain or release the energy. Otherwise it is not possible to gain the energy. See, the higher energy lower energy orbital by emitting higher to lower by emitting energy, and lower to higher by gaining the energy. So by this way electrons can rotate throughout the nucleus. Okay, this is the particle nature of light, that it is indicating that the energy of the photon that is indicating by E, it is proportional to the frequency. So that means E equals to hc by lambda. So h is the Planck constant, the value it is given, c is the velocity of the light, and lambda is the wavelength. Okay, so E equals to hc by lambda. This is the formula by what we can get the energy of the photon. Okay, and c by lambda, that means we can say E equals to h nu. This is the SI unit, it is giving that Planck constant, the value of Planck constant. If it will multiply it by 10 to the power 7, then it will come 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 28. That time it will come arc second. Okay, so by this way Bohr's model we will get the atomic spectra, and the lambda is the wavelength. Okay, lambda is the wavelength, and R is the Rydberg constant, and n1 square and n2 square, this is the energy level, that is n1 means that the energy level at ground state, n2 level that energy level at the excited state, from that means second state. So by this way we can get the value of lambda. This is also called the wave number. Okay, 1 by lambda means wave number. So next we will do that atomic spectrum and the Bohr atom. So n2 equals to 4 and n1 equals to 2, that time 1 by lambda equals to R into 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square. That formula already we know. So 1 by lambda equals to the value of R, it is 1.097 into 10 to the power 7 meter inverse. So 1 by 2 square minus 1 by 4 square. So by this way 1 by lambda value we will get, and we will get the wave number. And if we will get the 1 by lambda value, then from here the lambda value definitely we will get from here. So next we will see the wave nature of the electron. Lambda equals to h by mv. So lambda equals to h by mv. Lambda is the wavelength, h is the Planck constant. H means, what is the value of h? 6.626 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule, 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. Okay, this is Planck constant. M is the mass of the particle and v is the velocity of the particle. M is the mass of the particle, v is the velocity of the particle. So lambda equals to h by mv. This is the formula. For what? The wave nature of the electron, and for the particle nature of the electron we will get the formula E equals to h nu, or we can say hc by lambda. Okay, I think all of you can understand. So after that we will see quantum number. Okay, so quantum number means solution to be function used to solve the wave equation. So quantum number, it is generally of 4 types. One is principal quantum number, another one is azimuthal quantum number, magnetic quantum number, and spin quantum number. Okay, so principal quantum number n equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the principal quantum number. Azimuthal quantum number we indicate by L, and magnetic quantum number we indicate by ml. So by this way we will get the quantum number, and one more, it is that the spin quantum number. Okay, one more, it is that the spin quantum number. So spin quantum number we will write the spin quantum number. It is indicated by small s. Okay, either plus half or minus half. So to that rotation it is possible for each and every electron, and each orbital can contain maximum 2 electrons. So what is principal quantum number? It is indicating the cell number in which the electron it is present. Okay, this is principal quantum number. And secondary quantum number, that means L, it is indicating that orbital. And magnetic quantum number, it is indicating the orientation of orbital. And spin quantum number, it is indicating parallel and antiparallel spin of the quantum number of the electrons. Okay, so suppose in a case if n equals to 1, that means it will indicate that the value the electron it is present in the ground state. So when value of n we will get, suppose n equals to 1, that time L equals to 0. L is azimuthal quantum number, already I said. So when principal quantum number is 1, then azimuthal quantum number should be 0, because azimuthal quantum number L we will get 0 to n minus 1 by this value. So 0 to n minus 1, 0 it only coming. So when n equals to 2, then L equals to 0, 1. So when n equals to 3, then L equals to, it will be 0, 1, 2. So by this way we will get the azimuthal quantum number. Okay, and azimuthal quantum number, the value if 0 it is coming, then it is indicating the s orbital. If azimuthal quantum number is 1, then it is indicating p orbital. If it is 2, that means it is indicating d orbital. If it is 3, that means it indicating the f orbital, and 4 it is indicating the g orbital. So it will depend. Okay, So the quantum number, the azimuthal quantum number 0 means it is indicating s orbital, 1 means it is indicating p orbital, 2 d orbital, 3 f orbital and 4 g orbital. Okay, and if we know the principal quantum number, we can easily get the azimuthal quantum number. See, in this table everything it is written. If the principal quantum number is 1, then if the principal quantum number is 1, then azimuthal quantum number is 0, magnetic quantum number is also 0 and number of orbital it is 1. Okay. So, magnetic quantum number how we will get? Magnetic quantum number we will get by this way, minus L to plus L. Okay. So, minus L to plus L, if L equals to 0, then 0 it will come only for n equals to 2. So, two values of azimuthal quantum number is possible, 0 and 1. For 0, ml value is 0, that is magnetic quantum number, and for 1, minus 1, 0 plus 1, these three values are possible for magnetic quantum number. Each value of magnetic quantum number, it will indicate the each orbital. So, how many orbitals are present? For ml equals to 0, 1 and for these 3. So, when n equals to 3, total orbitals 4. Okay. So, by this way we will get, and 0 means s orbital, 1 means p orbital and 2 means d orbital. According to azimuthal quantum number, we can say that the name of the orbital. Okay. And number of electrons, each orbital can contain maximum 2 electrons. So, for each we can say the spin quantum number. Here we can say the spin quantum number for number of orbitals 2, plus half, minus half, total 2. For 1, plus half, minus half. Okay. For 3, plus half, minus half. So, total 3 into 2 means 6. Okay. So, by this way we will get the px, py and pz orbital. Okay. So, this is px, this is py and this is pz. Okay. So, in px orbital it is there that these lobes, they are situated along with x axis. In py orbital it is situated along with y axis and it is along with z axis. So, dumbbell shape we can see that in case of each and every p orbital. Okay. So, p orbital it is having the dumbbell shape. Along x axis when it will exist, then it is called the px orbital. Along y axis when it will exist, then it is called the py orbital, and along z axis when it is existing, then it is called the pz orbital. So, next we will see, for making the electronic configuration we have to know some principle or some laws. So, first one, it is Aufbau principle. We cannot use the orbital without without considering their energy level. Okay. So, generally the electrons, how they will fill up the energy level from lower orbital to higher orbital, it will go. Okay. So, according to Aufbau principle, in the ground state of the atom, the orbitals are filled in order of the increasing energy. So, orbitals, they will be filled in order of increasing energy. So, what is the order? 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, 4p. So, that means if the 2 electrons are there, first it will go to 1s orbital, and s orbital can contain maximum 2 electrons. Already we have seen, because each and every orbital can contain maximum 2 electrons. AC is having 1 orbital, so it can contain maximum 2 electrons, plus half and minus half. So, one is in parallel spin, another one is anti-parallel spin. So, 1s orbital can contain maximum 2 electrons. Okay, 2 electrons it will contain. After that 2s orbital, the electron will go, and 2s orbital also it will be filled with 2 electron. After that 2p orbital is it will come, and 2p orbital can take maximum 6 electron. Every p orbital it can take maximum 6 electron. After that 3s it will come, so 3s again maximum 2 electron. After, if it is required, then 3p orbital is come. So by this way the electrons will fill the orbital. Okay, so I think all of you can understand the above principle. After that we are coming to Pauling exclusion principle. So according to this principle, no two electrons in the atom have the same set of 4 quantum numbers. So that means, suppose if two electron having principal quantum number 1, so L equals to 0, that means for both of two electrons n equals to 1, L equals to 0, magnetic quantum number is same, n equals to 0. But spin quantum number it will be different, it will be either plus half or minus half. Okay, so 4 quantum number can be same, it is not possible for any kind of 2 electrons in the same set. Okay, so this is given by Pauling exclusion principle, and the cell maximum content, I mean the capacity of the electron, it is indicated by 2n square. Okay, 2n square, suppose 2n, according to 2n square formula, if n equals to 1, that means in the first cell the maximum electron number it is 2 into 1 square, that means 2. If n equals to 2, then maximum electron number 2 into 2 square, that means 8. So by this way we can use the 2n square formula, but 2n square formula it is having some limitation. It can indicate that 18 electrons can be possible to stay in one cell, but actually it is not possible. It will be divided into like 3s, 3p, 3d. 3s will take 2 electrons, 3p will take 6 electron, and 3d it will take rest of 10 electron. But in the last cell or valence cell or outermost cell, in one orbit, each and one orbit can contain maximum 8 electrons, but it can indicate more than 8 electron also. That is why some limitation it is there for this 2n square formula, but Pauling exclusion principle it is that. Next we are coming to Hund's rule. This rules filling of electron of the orbital belonging to the same cell of equal energy called degenerate orbital. Our next topic it is Hund's rule of maximum multiplicity. This rule deals filling of electrons in the orbitals belonging to the same subcell of equal energy called degenerate orbital. The subcells which have equal energy, they are called the degenerate orbital. So it states that pairing of electron in the orbital belonging to the same subcell P, D or F does not take place until each orbital of the subcell gets one electron that is singly occupied. That means whenever we are filling up the electron from lower energy orbital to higher energy orbital, first we have to complete the lower energy orbital, then we can go forward to the next energy orbital. So that means if we take p orbital, then px, py, pz, after completion of p orbital we can go to the d orbital. So just like that electron should be situated. Next topic it is, and the last topic, the electronic configuration. How we will write the electronic configuration in class 9 already we have seen how to write, but here we have to use the orbital indication like s, p, d, f orbital that we have to use. Suppose in case of helium ion, the helium it is having the electronic configuration as it is having 2 electrons, so 1 is 2. After that beryllium, if you want to write 1 is 2, 2 is 2. Lithium, Lithium we will write 1s2 2s1 because 3 is the atomic number, helium it is having 2 atomic number, beryllium it is having 4 atomic number. And also we can write, suppose in case of neon, 1s2 2s2 2p6 because 10 electrons total neon is having, so 2 plus 2 plus 6. So after 1s, filling of 1s orbital, we will go to 2s. 2s 2p, after that 3s 3p 3d 4s, then 4p 4d 4f, like that way we have to put the electron. And after filling of the lower energy orbital, we will go to the higher energy orbital. You can write the electronic configuration of sodium atom. Sodium it is having 11 atomic numbers, so 1s2 2s2 2p6, after that 3s1, because s orbital can take maximum 2 electron, p orbital can take maximum 6 electron. Again we can write for suppose in case of atomic number 21 to 30 elements. Suppose I am writing chromium electronic configuration. So chromium is 24, so 1s2 2s2 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6. Then how much electrons? 18 electrons, then more 6 electrons we need, then we will write 3d5 4s1 3d6 or 3d4, that kind of 3d4 kind of electronic configuration it is not possible because d5 is half cell and it is having the stable configuration, it is having the stability, it is half cell, half filled. So extra stability is gaining by d5 orbital. So by this way we have to write the electronic configuration. Suppose in case of copper also, 1s2 2s2 2p6 3s2 3p6, after we will write 3d10 4s1, because 3d9 it is not possible, it is very much unstable. So this is our last topic for this chapter. If you have any queries regarding this chapter, you can contact with me. So I am closing the this chapter. Okay, you revise the chapter and any queries, ask me. Thank you. Have a nice day.